into my computer, there's an ad for a hair fryer. So that they know exactly what.
Yeah, you show an interest in something once, and you just get flooded with ads till the end of time.
Yep.
Yes.
That's okay. Yep.
So what are you cooking with it?
You know what? Everything. It's terrific. I just love it. It's air. You can even make a toasted sandwich in it. I made schnitzels. Yeah. And everything comes out really crispy and crusty, and it can be. Mark wants to start. Karen, how you doing?
That's all right. I'm just
interested in the air fryer.
The air fryer.
What you do with the things.
Well, you cook in it.
Well, I realised that, but I thought it was like for chips and roast potatoes and stuff.
Yes, you can do. Yeah, you can do chips and vegetables, and they come out really crispy. They're just terrific.
Oh, that's good.
And it's easy.
Maybe I should get one.
Absolutely.
I think you should drop lunch boxes off for each of us with some of your sample some
of goodies. All right.
Yeah,
so you can decide whether to buy one or not. Okay. That'll be my next thing to do. Okay, Lindy, no worries. I'll just leave it on your doorstep if you're not home.
I've got one question.
But that would be wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Pebby, one question. Does Max know how
yes,
to
Karen.
use it?
Max knows everything. Of course he does. He had to show me. Max cooked at our place, Karen. I'm a new age woman, what have they called?
Well, your cooks at our house.
I was a feminist before any of you were born.
Okay, shall we make a start? So
yeah.
Okay, so as I wrote, I thought, we did background to the Machar-Chodesh chapter, so may as well just do the chapter itself. And although the Haftarah itself starts sort of halfway through, it's probably worth doing the whole chapter in its own right. So, okay. Well, maybe, okay, I'll do one or two psukim at a time then. Okay. Shane, are you ready?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So you go for
Yeah, okay.
Or do you want me to just do the English?
No, I'll do the Hebrew and then just follow.
Okay, yep. Okay, fine.
I'll probably do just one or two psukim at a time, I think, just so.
Okay.
I think reading through it, like, you need to follow it fairly carefully because it's who's doing what, when, exactly, etc. And all right, maybe we'll stop. Like, stop during the thing to make comments or questions or whatever. So anyway, okay. Vayivrach David Menayot barama vayavo vayomer lifnei Yehonatan me'asiti me'avoni u'mechatati lifnei avicha ki mevakesh et nafshi.
David fled from Naioth in Ramah. He came to Jonathan and said, what have I done? What is my crime and my guilt against your father that he seeks my life?
Vayomer lo chalila lo tamut hinei lo yaseh avi davar gadol o davar katon velo yigle et ozni umadua yastir avi mimeni et hadavar hazeh ein zot.
He replied, heaven forbid, you shall not die. My father does not do anything, great or small, without disclosing it to me. Why should my father conceal this matter from me? It cannot be.
Vayishava od David, vayomer yado yada avicha, ki matzati chen beinecha, vayomer al yeda zot Yehonatan, pen yatsev v'ulam chai Adonai v'chei nafshecha ki chefesha beini uvein hamavet.
David swore further, your father knows well that you are fond of me and has decided Jonathan must not learn of this or he will be grieved. But as the Lord lives and as you live, there is only a step between me and death.
ויאמר יהונתן אל דוד, מה תאמר נפשך ואצלך.
Jonathan said to David, whatever you want, I will do it for you.
So there seems to be a bit of a disagreement. David thinks that he's convinced that Saul still wants to kill him. Jonathan thinks that that's not the case. So he has a plan.
I disagree with your statement. I disagree with you.
Okay, go on. Yep.
He doesn't say that at all. He just, at the beginning, David is planning and prepare the ground to secure the loyalty of Jonathan, which we know he have that already. What he have said, he revealed the fact that any piece of information that Shaul does is going to go through him, and therefore David will know.
Sure. But he needs to know. I mean, he's afraid.
Yeah, I know, but it's a beautiful a balanced drama that's happening here between the two guys and the language. If you listen correctly, it is very quietly underneath. He talking about the fact that I didn't do anything to your father, and this is therefore you need to be on my side. And therefore, Jonathan came along and said, yes, of course I'm on your side. Don't you worry, because everything that he about to do, I will know and I'll tell you. And we know that later on in the future, but this is a language of a Brit. It's a signature between two of us to make sure that you are safe.
So, sorry, can I just confirm my understanding? We've got two interpretations. One interpretation is that David is going to Jonathan, and Jonathan is saying, my father won't do anything to you without anything, don't worry. The other is that Jonathan's actually saying, don't worry, I've got your back.
The second one, not the first one, the second one.
Yeah.
The second one, he said, I have your back because I know exactly what's happening in the household of my father. Anything that's going to happen, it's going to secure. David later said, look, I'm not sure your father might not say anything to you because he's sad that because we have this connection, he might not reveal everything. It is a language of a build-up of trust between the two of them. And the winner here, it's David. Jonathan just been taken by the nose to guarantee that nothing going to happen to David.
Yeah, it's showing that Jonathan's loyalties lie with David rather than with his own father.
100%.
Right, but at this stage, are we sure that David trusts Jonathan, or he's still a bit wary whether Jonathan is going to side with his father or not?
The first mishpat, the first chapter said, I have not done anything. This is the first opening up of the conversation. Later on, it's slowly filtered to the fact that David continued to prompt at Jonathan, how loyal are you? For me, almost. There's a tiny bit between me living or dying. This is a big critical thing for me to have your loyalty, and the language is still. Jonathan is continuing to say, no, don't worry, because in any event, you have done nothing to my father. Therefore, I support you, and that's how the sentencing going, the narrative, from my point of view, anyway.
Okay, all right. ויאמר דוד אל יהונתן, הנה חודש מחר, ואנוכי אשוב אשב עם המלך לאכול, ושילחתני ונסתרתי בשדה עד הערב השלישית.
David said to Jonathan, tomorrow is the new moon, and I am to sit with the king at the meal. Instead, let me go and I will hide in the countryside until the third evening.
אם פקוד יפקדני אביך, ואמרת, נשאל ממני דוד, לרוץ בית לחם עירו, כי זבח הימים שם לכל המשפחה.
If your father notes my absence, you say, David asked my permission to run down to his hometown, Bethlehem, for the whole family has its annual sacrifice there.
אם כה יאמר טוב, שלום לעבדך, במחרו יחרה לו, דע כי חרתה הרעה מאמו.
If he says, good, your servant is safe, but if his anger flares up, know that he is resolved to do me harm.
ועשית חסד על עבדך, כי בברית אדוני, הבאת את עבדך עמך. אם יש בי עוון, המיתני אתה, יד אביך למה זה תביעני.
Deal faithfully with your servant, since you have taken your servant into a covenant of the Lord with you. And if I am guilty, kill me yourself, but don't make me go back to your father.
ויאמר יהונתן חלילה לך, כי אם ידוע אדע, כי חלתה הרעה מאם אבי לבוא עליך, ולא אותה אגיד לך.
Jonathan replied, don't talk like that. If I learn that my father has resolved to kill you, I will surely tell you about it.
So, I mean, that reaction earlier of David seems strange, doesn't it? That he seems to be doubting Jonathan here.
I think he's testing him.
We need to test that, and it's a language of I want you to the joy of you saying to your child, I'm not really sure you love me, and the child come and hug the mother or whatever it is, and it continued this parallel of show me how much you love me, show me how much, and I want the security with you. I want to know that even in the last minute, you're going to sell your father for me, and you're going to provide information. And it's actually put the sword in the hand of Jonathan and said, you know, if I'm the wrong one here, if I'm the one who did you kill me instead of taking to your father. This is really extreme manipulation of power struggle between somebody who is totally in love with this beautiful man.
I mean, by the standards of those times, Jonathan could well wanted to kill him. You know?
Yeah. No. Well, right. So David was quite justified in suspecting him, but he which would imply though he didn't trust their love, their friendship then, or he wasn't yet convinced that was strong enough.
But it's a very difficult balancing act because Jonathan's got a father. He's got a. Who do I stand by? Do I stand by my father or my friend?
Yeah.
And then later on, Shaul said to his son, Ben Na'avat Hamardut. It's a curse of the curse to his son because he chose David on instead of his loyalty to the family, knowing that by doing that he destroy the continuation of the Shaul kingdom.
Okay. ויאמר דוד אל יהונתן מי יגיד לי או מה יענך אביך קשה.
David said to Jonathan, who will tell me if your father answers you harshly?
ויאמר יהונתן אל דוד לך ונצא השדה ויצאו שניהם השדה.
Jonathan said to David, let us go into the open, and they both went out into the open.
So presumably going out into the open was relatively safe.
Well, there's nobody hanging around, no witnesses or anything like that then.
ויאמר יהונתן אל דוד, אדוני אלוהי ישראל, כי אחקור את אבי, העת מחר השלישית, והנה טוב אל דוד, ולא אז אשלח אליך, וגיליתי את אוזניך.
Then Jonathan said to David, by the Lord, the God of Israel, I will sound out my father at this time tomorrow or on the third day. And if his response is favorable for David, I will send a message to you at once and disclose it to you.
So he needed to know if it was favorable, so then he would go and attend. Because David was in a bind, though, because if he didn't attend and he was missed, his life would be in danger too. Anyway. Ko yaseh Adonai li honatan v'cho yosif ki eitiv v'lavi et hara'a alecha v'galiti et oznecha v'shilachticha v'halachta l'shalom Ihi Adonai imach ka'asher haya im avi.
But if my father intends to do you harm, may the Lord do thus to Jonathan and more, if I do not disclose it to you and send you off to escape unharmed. May the Lord be with you as he used to be with my father. That's interesting how he says as he used to be.
Yes.
Loyalties have shifted.
Yeah.
Well, no, it seems clear that God's, Is it clear to everybody that God's favor is no longer with Saul?
We also can see that Jonathan doesn't trust his father because the father is sick. He is not well. And knowingly that the whole kingdom, the assumption is that the problem is only in the kingdom. The problem is in the whole country, knowing that the king is not well. Having said that, if God is with him or not, it's a sideline. It's to do with the Shmuel story aside. But Jonathan probably tried to see the future of the Malchut, the kingdom, through David and not through his father anymore. And I think he saw that David had the capacity to lead the country later, and so he supported him there.
Right, but it's probably not clear to everybody that Shaul's on the way out.
Well, maybe his behaviour was so erratic that he was almost psychotic. Is that what they're trying to imply?
Well, he had these psychotic rages, it seems.
Today, you're a psychiatrist. You will subscribe to him medicine.
Right, but I mean, they were rages. I think Yvonne suggested last week he was bipolar, but okay, he had these rages, but those seemed to be only directed towards David. So he was paranoid about David, which is probably understandable, but he wasn't necessarily unstable the rest of the time.
No. The reading is just the issue with David. We don't know what Shaul did with others. It's irrelevant to our story. We're here building up David's kingdom. And so what Shaul did with others, it's irrelevant to us. As the narrator doesn't care for that. If he hit the horses or whatever, it's sideline. Here we're building up David. The story of David is important. Okay. And how we're going to justify he's taking the family aside, Shaul family, and build up his own family. That's where the story is. Shaul is a byproduct of that, but the connection between them to show that David, everything that he did, he didn't do anything wrong. He's showing through this writing that I have nothing. I didn't do anything to him. I came to play music. I come to every month. I come and sit in a table with him. Rosh Chodesh. I do everything possibly to help. Later on, we talk about this Michal. I went and he asked me to take 100 erlot, and I got 200. This kind of. Yeah. I'm the perfect son-in-law. The first thing, and I'm also a loyal servant. He just chasing me, and here we need to build up his story as a successful, as the Superman, as King David, as we know it from the tradition.
Okay. Velo imodeni chai, velo ta'aseh imadi chesed Adonai velo amut.
Nor shall you fail to show me the Lord's faithfulness while I am alive, nor when I am dead.
Again, this one shows that, to me, Jonathan, doesn't trust that who Jonathan's speaking now. Yeah. So Jonathan's not assuming necessarily, he's not taking it for granted that when David in the future becomes king, that he's going to treat him and his family kindly. He's wanting to make him swear that.
He's talking about his children, not necessarily his father.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure.
He is securing
himself and his
the
children.
future
If he's alive,
of his family.
if he remains alive after when David becomes king, and or his children, the rest of his family, sure. Let's assume. Yeah. Maybe sure, and he's not convinced that that's going to happen. Okay, what have we got? 9 minutes. ולא תחריד את חסדך מעם ביתי ערולם, ולא בהחריד ארוני את אויבי דוד איש מעל פני האדמה.
Shall you ever discontinue your faithfulness to my house, not even after the Lord has wiped out every one of David's enemies from the face of the earth?
ויכרות יהונתן עם בית דוד, וביקש אדוני מיד אויבי דוד.
Thus has Jonathan covenanted with the house of David, and may the Lord requite the enemies of David.
It doesn't say that David sort of responded and agreed. I mean, whether that's implied in the word Brit, or it doesn't say Brit.
He didn't fulfill the Brit itself.
No, but
remember last week.
Sure, but even agreeing at this point that he's going to do it, he didn't say, "Don't worry. Yes, I swear that I won't harm you or your descendants in the future."
He couldn't keep the promise. We know, as I said last week, that Michal had 5 children, and I was wrong. It's actually Meirav, which the sister have 5 children, and she died, and Michal looked after them. And then he allowed the 5 children to be taken by foreigners to be eliminated.
They give on him, yeah. But sure, but
Yes.
but exactly. But even at this stage, he looked after one of the sons, a young son who was lame, Mephibosheth. But right, he allowed others to be killed. ויוסף יהונתן להשביע את דוד באהבתו אותו, כי אהבת נפשו אהבו.
Jonathan, out of his love for David, adjured him again, for he loved him as himself.
So we had David's plan, what to do, or he gave Jonathan instructions, and now Jonathan gives David instructions what to do about the Rosh Chodesh feast, which is where the Haftarah actually starts.
Before you jump, Mark, that, can't you see here there is 2 personalities, King David, or at the time David, somebody who really need to be loved constantly and reassured by people around him that they love him. He was a master manipulator and great politician at all levels. And you can see Yehonatan, a son of a king who should be proud and everything else, turn into dust in front of him and constantly come back with the praising him, and I will protect you. And towards the end, as you said, he didn't even give the promise that he's going to look after the family. It's showing you this personalities on this beautiful stage of.
Well, I guess it's I suppose you could say, Jonathan may well have not wanted to continue to be the king.
Yeah, I think that's clear, but he was very submissive.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. But this is also reduce the warmness of King David. If you look at that, it's really I describe him one of these characters, a politician today in America. Really much more about me. Very, very. I need my people to say how great I am. And I'm not mentioning any name, but somebody like Trump. This is somebody who needs constant validation from around him. And that's what's happening here in between the two of them.
Well, maybe Jonathan was a bit like King Edward, and being prepared to abdicate
I talk too much
in favor of love.
Yeah, but Jonathan was no Wallace.
No,
Maybe
but
Jonathan was-
just all right. It's not a complete analogy, obviously.
Yeah, no.
But maybe Jonathan was like Pence today.
Like who?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
Pence. Yeah.
Mark
Yeah,
Pence.
Vice President.
Okay.
I think it was more like David was like Henry VIII. Anything else? He killed enough people.
Okay. Vayomer lo Yehonatan Machar Chodesh. I've always found this strange because we already know that it's Machar Chodesh tomorrow, because from the previous conversation, but so he's sort of reiterating it. But anyway, V'nifkadeta ki paked moshavecha.
Jonathan said to him, tomorrow will be the new moon and you will be missed when your seat remains vacant.
V'shilashta tered me'od uvata el hamakom asher nistarta sham b'yom ha'maaseh v'yashavta etzel ha'even ha'azel.
So the day after tomorrow, go down all the way to the place where you hid the other time and stay close to the Ezel stone.
What was where he hid the other time? Is that? ואני שלושת החיצים צידה עורה לשלח לי למטרה.
Now I will shoot 3 arrows to one side of it as though I was shooting at a mark.
והנה אשלח את הנער לך מצא את החיצים. אם אמור אומר לנער הנה החיצים ממך והנה קחנו ובוא כי שלום לך ואין דבר חי אדוני.
And I will order the boy to go and find the arrows. If I call to the boy, hey, the arrows are on this side of you, be reassured and come, for you are safe and there is no danger as the Lord lives.
ואם כה אומר לאלם הנה החיצים ממך והלאה לך כי שילחך אדוני.
But if instead I call to the lad, hey, the arrows are beyond you, then leave, for the Lord has sent you away.
והדבר אשר דיברנו אני ואתה הנה אדוני ביני ובינך עד עולם.
As for the promise we made to each other, may the Lord be witness between you and me forever.
ויסתר דוד בשדה ויהי החודש וישב המלך אל הלחם לאכול.
David hid in the field. The new moon came and the king sat down to partake of the meal.
וישב המלך על מושבו גפם בפם אל מושב הקיר ויקום יהונתן וישב אבנר מצד שאול ויפקד מקום דוד.
When the king took his usual place on the seat by the wall, Jonathan rose and Avner sat down at Saul's side, but David's place remained vacant.
ולא דיבר שאול מאומה ביום ההוא, כי אמר מקרה הוא, בלתי טהור הוא, כי לא טהור.
That day, however, Saul said nothing. It's accidental, he thought. He must be unclean and not yet cleansed.
ויהי ממחרת החודש השני, ויפקד מקום דוד, ויאמר שאול אל יהונתן בנו, מדוע לא בא בן ישי גם תמול גם היום אל הלחם.
But on the day after the new moon, the second day, David's place was vacant again. So Saul said to his son Jonathan, "Why didn't the son of Jesse come to the meal yesterday or today?"
ויען יהונתן את שאול, נשאל דוד מעמדי עד בית לחם.
Jonathan answered Saul, "David begged leave of me to go to Bethlehem."
ויאמר שלחני נא כי